I'll tell you about music, Gary. Music is good.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Ocracoke Music Sampler. This is your host, Gary Mitchell, from the band Molasses Creek. On this show, we'll be featuring music that was recorded right here on Ocracoke Island. Some folks you might know, but probably some surprises, too. I hope you enjoy it. Well, hi, everybody. This is your host, Gary Mitchell, and I want to feature an album this week that goes back to 2009. My band, Molasses Creek, actually formed in 1993, and we've seen a number of different members over the years. But back about 2008, Marcy Brenner and Lou Castro began to play with us on a full-time basis, and we had a lot of fun. We made a lot of great music back then. And our first album that we did together was called Follow the Heron Home, and that was the title song of the album. It's a beautiful song written by Corinne Polwart. Let's take a listen.
The back of the winter is broken, and light lingers long by the door, and the seeds of the summer have spoken in gowans that bloom by the shore. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and we'll follow the heron home. In darkness we cradled our sorrows and stoked all our fires with fear. Now these bones that lie empty and hollow are ready for gladness to cheer. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and we'll follow the heron home. Long may you sing of the salmon and the snow-scented sounds of your home, while the north wind delivers its sermon of ice and salt water and stone. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and we'll follow the heron home. The back of the winter is broken, and light lingers long by the door, and the seeds of the summers have spoken in gowans that bloom by the shore.
Oh, what a gorgeous song. Well, we still enjoy playing that one. Follow the Heron Home. Well, let's move to something a little different here. This is one that Marcy Brenner sings, and Lou plays some really cool guitar on this. Papa, come quick.
Papa, come quick, Jody's gone to the city. What we're gonna do now that Jody's gone? She left a note on the TV, and Papa, it's a pity. What we're gonna do now that Jody's gone? Since morning, she cried right through as the world turns. I seen it myself, and Papa, it's a picture. Let's haul out before the baby gets burned. Gas up the old Ford, get out the road map. They got a head start about a half a day. Load up the shotgun, put it in the gun rack. Jody's with Chico down in East L.A. Will make you hurt yourself. Oh, Papa, come quick. Oh, Papa, come quick. Papa, come quick. Oh, Papa, come on. Papa, come quick. Jody's gone to the city. What we're gonna do now that Jody's gone? She left a note on the TV, and Papa, it's a pity. What we gonna do now that Jody's gone? Gas up the old Ford, get out the road map. We got a head start about a half a day. Load up the shotgun and put it in the gun rack. Jody's in Chico in East L.A. Since morning, she cried right through as the world turns. I seen her myself, and Papa, it's a picture. Let's haul out before the baby gets burned. Gas up the old Ford, get out the road map. We got a head start about a half a day. Stop at the mobile, pump up the flat wheel. Jody and Chico and his ding-dang deal.
Papa, come quick. That was Molasses Creek with Marcy Brenner singing the lead there. Well, this next song is a favorite of mine. This was actually a song that Porter Wagner made famous many years ago. But the song just has a great message, I think, particularly for today. It's called Satisfied Mind.
How many times have you heard someone say, if I had his money, I'd do things my way? How little they know that it's so hard to find one rich man in 20 with a satisfied mind. Now money won't buy back your youth when you're old. the asperson is a pauper at times, compared to a man with a satisfied mind. Life is over and my time has run out. My friends and relations, I'll leave them no doubt. But one thing's for certain, when it comes my time, gonna leave this old world with a satisfied mind. Gonna leave this old world with a satisfied mind.
Jolene, 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 begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though you can. Your beauty is beyond compare, with flaming locks of auburn hair and ivory skin and eyes of emerald green. Your smile is like a breath of spring, your voice is soft like summer rain, and I cannot compete with you, Jolene. Jolene, 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 begging of you, please don't take my man. Jolene, 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 please don't take him even though you can. He talks about you in his sleep. There's nothing I can do to keep from crying when he calls your name, Jolene. But I could easily understand that you could
That was Marcy Brenner singing her version of Dolly Parton's Jolene. You know, I got to tell you, I think Marcy's version of that is my favorite. I mean, Dolly wrote a great song, but she does it much faster. And I love this slowed down, really emotional version of Jolene. Wonderful. Well, it seems like it's time for some picking here. Molasses Creek loves to play old-time tunes, fiddle tunes, and this is one that is actually a popular guitar flat-picking tune called Red Hair Boy. But we can't leave anything alone, so we mashed that up with a tune called Liza Jane that Fiddler Dave sings the lead on. And you'll also hear Gerald Hampton on the mandolin and Marcy Brenner on bass. Red Hair Boy meets Liza Jane.
trials often betray those on in the weary body to stray. But we shall walk beside the still waters with the good shepherd leading the way. Those who have strayed were sought by the Master, he who once gave his life for the sheep. Out on the mountain, still he is searching, bringing them in forever to keep. Going up home to live in green pastures, where we shall live and die nevermore. Even the Lord will be in that number when we shall reach that heavenly shore. Of the stranger, for he would lead us all to despair. Following on with Jesus our Savior, we shall all reach that country so fair. Going up home to live in green pastures, where we shall live and die nevermore. Even the Lord will be in that number when we shall reach that heavenly shore. By night and day we'll sport and we'll play and delight as the dawn dances over the bay. Sleep blows the breath of the morning away, and we'll follow the Heron home.
Well, thanks for listening to the Ocracoke Music Sampler. We're going to take a short break here. We'll be back in just a minute with more music from Ocracoke Island. Gypsy Wagon, written by Gerald Hampton of the band Molasses Creek. He's also playing the mandolin lead on that song. This week we're featuring the album that Molasses Creek recorded back in 2009 called Follow the Heron Home. And this was the first album that included Marcy Brenner and Lou Castro as full-time members of Molasses Creek. So it was an exciting time for us, working up a lot of new material, and I hope you enjoyed this album. This next song was written by Norman Blake, and when I started playing guitar back in the late 60s, early 70s, I listened to a lot of Norman Blake, and he would just write some great material that really kind of touched me. My family originally came out of the mountains of Southwest Virginia, and even though I've lived at Ocracoke for over 40 years, I've still got some mountain in me. So this is one called Ginseng Sullivan.
I'm too old to ride the rail, thumb the road along, and I guess I'll never make it back to home. My muddy water Mississippi Delta home. About 3 miles from the Battelle Yard, the reverse curve on down. Not far south from the town depot, a Sullivan shack was found, back on the higher ground. But you could see him every day, walking down the line, with an old brown sack across his back and his long hair down behind, speaking his worried mind. It's a long way to the Delta from the North Georgia hills, and a tow sack full of ginseng won't pay no traveling bills. I'm too old to ride the rail, thumb the road along, and I guess I'll never make it back to home. My muddy water Mississippi Delta home. Too cold, the damp it makes me ill. I can't dig no roots in the mountainside where the ground froze hard and still. I got to wait at the foot of the hill. But next summer things turn right, the company will pay high. I'm making enough money to pay my bills, and I bid these mountains goodbye. Then he said with a sigh, it's a long way to the Delta from the North Georgia hills, and a tow sack full of ginseng won't pay no traveling bills. Well, I'm too old to ride the rail, thumb the road along, and I guess I'll never make it back to home. My muddy water Mississippi Delta home. My muddy water Mississippi Delta home.
Ginseng Sullivan by Norman Blake. It's interesting that he wrote that song from the perspective of somebody trying to get back to the Mississippi Delta from those hills of Georgia, because that's where Norman was from, up there in those hills. Well, next up we have a song that the Ink Spots made a hit of back in 1940. And I believe I originally heard this as a version from the Manhattan Transfer, probably back in the in the 80s maybe. But I just fell in love with the harmonies on this song, and the lyrics are great too, because, hey, I'm a coffee lover. Java Jive.
I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Well, I love Java, sweet and hot. Oops, Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me the pot, and I'll pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, slip me a slug from that wonderful mug, and I'll cut a rug till I'm snug in a jug. A slice of onion and a raw one. Draw one. Waiter, waiter, percolator. I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Boston beans, soybeans, you know them little green beans, cabbage and greens. I'm not keen about a bean unless it is a cherry, cherry bean.
Boys,
I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. I love Java, sweet and hot. Oops, Mr. Moto, I'm a coffee pot. Shoot me the pot and I'll pour me a shot. A cup, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup. Oh, slip me a slug from that wonderful mug, and I'll cut a rug that's snug in a jug. Drop a nickel in the pot, Joe, taking it slow.
waiter, waiter, percolator.
Well, I love coffee, I love tea, I love the Java Jive and it loves me. Coffee and tea and the Java and me, a cup, a cup, a cup, a cup.
Java Jive. We had a guest bass player on that song, Robbie Link, the wonderful bass player from up in Chapel Hill, who's played on lots of our recordings down here and also performed at the Ocracoke Festival many times. Love that upright bass. Well, we're going to go to another old song now. And if you leave Dave Tweedie alone too long, he'll come up with something pretty crazy. And so that's what he did on this next song. Along with Marcy Brenner, they created our own version of Write Myself a Letter.
Gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you. I'm gonna write some words so sweet, I'm gonna knock me off my feet. X's at the bottom, I'm sure glad I got 'em. I'm gonna write and say I hope you're feeling better, and sign it with love the way you do. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter and make believe it came from you.
and pretend that it came from you. With a pair of socks so sweet, so your dog can't nip my feet. Made of wool, not cotton, so slick you'll think I bought 'em. Laughed when I chased down your Irish setter to retrieve that old jumper that she chewed. Well, you bet next time I won't even stop to pet her. No, no, why you're lucky that it's me or you'd be sued.
Well, I hope you think that you are being clever, saying stuff about my pup that just ain't true. He's not too old to teach him to nip you on your seat, pinch you on your bottom, just like I will have taught him. Your legal threats have got me feeling fettered, but I won't cry, I won't be blue. I'm gonna counter sue and top you one step better.
Oh, no. Like that?
Make believe I don't know you.
Oh, let me make it up. Get here.
That was Write Myself a Letter, an old classic by Fats Waller, and that was Molasses Creek's version of that song. We had some really fine playing there by fiddler Dave Tweedie and Lou Castro. I love to hear what they come up with instrumentally on a lot of these numbers. Well, this next song I originally heard on an album by the Dillards, back in the early 70s. Now, the Dillards, if you're not familiar with them, they were the Darlin family. They were the band that would come down from the hills into Mayberry to play on some of the Andy Griffith Show episodes. And they're really a terrific bluegrass band. And they were very influential back in that time period. This is Molasses Creek's version of I Don't Believe You've Met My Baby.
Last night, my dear, the rain was falling. I went to bed so sad and blue. Then I had a dream of you. I dreamed we were strolling in the evening underneath the harvest moon. I was thinking about you. Then we met out in the moonlight. The stars were shining in your eyes, but another was there too. I don't believe you've met my baby. You looked at him, you looked at me. I wondered who you were talking to. I shook the hand of your stranger, but I was shaking more inside. I was still wondering who. Your arm was resting on his shoulder. You smiled at him. he smiled at you. His eyes were filled with victory. He said, my sister wants to marry. And then my heart was filled with ease. I knew that you would marry me. On the door, he was slipping and sliding with his new shoes on. Papa said, Willie, don't you rap no more. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's all my, ain't no one to go my bail. I was over at my sweet Sally's house, just sitting in that big armchair, one arm around my whole guitar and the other one around my dear. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's all my, ain't no one to go my bail. That's about all I got, and dollar is all that I crave. Didn't bring nothing with me into this old world, ain't gonna take nothing to my grave. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's all my, ain't no one to go my bail. Way downtown, fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh, me and it's all mine, ain't no one to go my bail. And I'll give you a rhyme about a mighty fine fellow and a mighty fine time. He could spin you a tune that would stop the show, and his name was Jump Up Joe. He could play double shuffle till the cows come home, play twin fiddles, yes, on his own. If you made it to his dance on a Saturday night, then your ears got a wonderful sight. And the poor, they would follow his star. The wise and the stupid, they came from afar to spin the dance till it made them sick, dash out for more of his fiddlesticks. He played for them all from where they came, the cute and the ugly, they were all the same, and fiddled with the powers of the heavens above, burning up the floor with love. Jump up, Joe, wherever ye may be, call for your fiddle and your wife, call the dance to 3. Jump up, Joe, wherever ye may be, call for your fiddle and your bow, call the dance for me. The king had a daughter, the star of the land. She caught a bright eye for the cellist and the band. When the king got the word, he stormed the fair with that sleek little bow and made off with the hair. The royal hounds caught him in the clear till Wispy Tune turned them on their ears, and they whipped around and dove into the wood to the spot where Joe stood. Jump up, Joe, where
king took him up to the top of the hill, to the hanging tree where all stood still, and said, "Now Joe, I like you fine, but you're gonna help me find that daughter of mine." Guard dropped a noose around Joe's neck just to scare him a bit, keep his manners in check. Joe laughed as he smashed the fiddle on his knee, and he jumped from the hanging tree. Horses and all the king's men couldn't put the fiddle back together again, so the king locked it up and hauled it away to none knows where, not even today. But country dancers, they say it's true, if you put it back together with some horsehair glue, then out of the ground on a fair dance night you can see this wonderful sight. Jump up, Joe, wherever ye may be, call for your fiddle and your wife, call the dance to three. Jump up, Joe, wherever ye may be, call for your fiddle and your bow, call the dance for me.
Was Jump Up Joe by fiddler Dave Tweedie. Well, thank you so much for listening to the Ocracoke Music Sampler. This week we've been focusing on an album recorded in 2009 by Molasses Creek. It's called Follow the Heron Home, and it's one of my favorite projects that we did. So anyhow, I hope you can join us again next week for the Ocracoke Music Sampler, music that was recorded right here on the island by mostly island musicians. See you, folks.
There's a rabbit in a log and I ain't got my dog. How will I get him? I know. I'll get me a briar and I'll twist it in his hair. That way I'll get him, I know. I know. I know. I know. I know. That way I'll get him, I know. I'll get me a briar and I'll twist it in his hair. That way I'll get him, I know. I'm going down the track with the shirt tore up my back. Soles on my shoes are nearly gone. Why, just up ahead there's an old farmer's shed, place where I can rest my weary bones. Weary bones, weary bones, aching bones, lazy bones, place where I can rest my weary bones. Why, just up ahead there's an old farmer's shed, place where I can rest my weary bones. Yes, I can now. down. We'll have a feast here tonight while the moon's shining bright. Find ourselves a place to lie down, to lie down, to lie down, to lie down, to lie down. Find ourselves a place to lie down. We'll have a feast here tonight while the moon's shining bright. Find ourselves a place to lie down. Yeah, now.